Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to test all the preamps from the Boss ME-90 into the Boss Katana power amp in. Okay, so as you guys can see on the Boss ME-90, I have all the EQ at noon from the preamps. I'm gonna try one at a time. Let's start with the natural, but before we proceed, you know there's a button on the back of the unit that you can choose from guitar amp to line. So line is for you to connect into an audio interface, and guitar amp is for you to connect into the amp. Now you have a bunch of options in Tone Studio regarding outputs like the Katana and then some other amps, input and return and stuff like that. But I'm finding out that actually leaving the cab sim on, it's sounding better than the guitar amp. So first, the natural amp using the cab sim on. I'm gonna turn it off right now. So this is the way it's supposed to be. And I know I have a bunch of outputs to select from in Tone Studio, but I chose the Katana return. So for me, it's sounding better with the actual cab sim on. Let's go for the next amp because I think it's a little bit more noticeable when you're using distortion. So now on the X-Crunch preamp, let's start with the way it's supposed to be, guitar in and not line, and see how it sounds, see the difference between the two. So first guitar into the power amp in and the cab is off. I'm going to turn the cab on by selecting line. Let's see the difference. Here it's very subtle, but I think you can hear that it's a little bit more, let's put it this way, it's a little bit more close to a real amp, at least in my opinion. But let's change amp and see how it sounds. So back to the mode, guitar, X high gain. Seems like a little bit hollow and scooped. Now if I turn on the cab sim, which is line, sounds much better, in my opinion. So let's go for another amp, the maximum one. A little bit more louder here, a little bit just. I'm gonna put guitar cab off. Kind of weird this tone. At least in the room, it sounds a little bit hollow. If I go again and turn the cab on, because you know on these units you're supposed to turn the cab off. Okay, let's go to the Juggernaut. Okay, if I turn the cabs off, for me it sounds worse. So I'm gonna leave the cab on. So next one is the X modded. Let's increase the gain. Okay, I think it sounds better this way. Okay, let's go for the tweed. Now, let's try turning the cab off on this one, which is much louder. And now turning it on again. I still prefer it with the cab on. Let's go for the tweed. I think I have to do this test again, a little bit louder. And first it's on, it's off I mean. Now I'm going to turn the cab sim on. The diamond amp with the cab sim on. Just for fun, turning it off. No, definitely. With this configuration with Katana, for me sounds better with the cab sim on. Let's go for the bridge stack, increase the gain, max gain. And let's turn the cab sim off. It's not that it sounds bad, but for me, it's a little more consistent with a real amp when it's on, which is kind of weird. And we're not touching the EQs and stuff like that, not using even pedals, overdrive pedals in front, just the amps. And last but not least, we have the Rectify. Now let's try this one with the cab sim on. All is very dark. Let's turn the cab sim off. In this case, it really depends, man. I mean, you can tailor a little bit tone here, give it a little more treble, less bass, less gain. Still with the cab sim off, let's just for fun add a pedal in front. Could be a tube screamer, of course, to see what happens with the typical setup. Too much gain. Now let's turn the cab sim on and see how it sounds better. Again, off. In this amp, it's a little bit more noticeable when you turn it on and off. Probably sounds better with the cab sim off, but you gotta try for yourself and experiment, because from my experience here, dialing in the knobs and stuff like that, and I haven't done anything on the EQ particularly special, I think the cab sim on, for the most part, sounds better than the cab sim off. Now, this is the first time I'm trying this on the power amping on the Katana. As I said before, you have a bunch of options when it comes to output in Tone Studio and the different type of amps to choose from, and probably there are some that will sound better than others. But I decided to use the Katana power amp in output because it makes all the sense. And I'm figuring it out, at least for now, because on another video I may come with a different conclusion, but for now, the cab sim on, it's sounding better than with the cab sim off. You can hear that in a room probably, or maybe you can hear that on the video with the microphone close, very close to the Boss Katana, but it's definitely different and it's worth checking out and experiment to get the best results. So many thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. And I'll see you in another video about the Boss ME-90. This is episode number 2. Stay safe and cheers!